Hey, y'all, we are back and there's another grant. And this grant is actually easier than probably 95% of the grants that I've previously posted. If you get anything of value out of this video, beginning, middle, ends, if you can like, subscribe, comment, share, sharing is caring. That is the one thing that I'm learning that is most important with this algorithm. So if you can do that, that'd be appreciated as well. Also, there is a small business grant playlist on the channel, and I just did a $25,000 grant, I think like 2 days ago. I did a $50,000 grant last week, and these grants are still open. So if you can go to the channel, look at that. If this opportunity does not work for you, some of the other ones might. And then also with this one, you don't need an LLC. Nonprofits are eligible. This is a global opportunity. So you do not have to be inside of the United States. And I know several of you have requested international grants. And I will say that I post a lot of international grants inside of the Patreon only because I have a mixture of subscribers and viewers, but probably over 90% are located in the United States. But I will, periodically, if I'm able to find these global opportunities, I definitely will put them out there. But some of them are specific to, say, I have some that are specific to Canada, specific to Africa. So it would not be, individuals in the US would not be eligible. What I'm going to do shortly, briefly, whatever, go to this Discord just so you all can get an idea of what's there. And then also, we're going to talk about a partnership that I have with Better Legal for individuals who might not have their LLC. But let's go into this Patreon first. I'm going to share my screen pretty quickly here. So here is the Discord. And what I like about this is it's categorized. So you don't have to try to figure out, okay, is it for profit, if it's nonprofit, international, state specific, all of these different categories. So whatever you're trying to look for is going to be here. And then also, I just added different documents in here. So I'm going to start doing that as well. So we got the business plan in here. We got the pitch deck in here. If you're interested in drop shipping, this is a super, super, super good guide. And then we also have Airbnb. Everybody who might not know, they're currently limiting the number of Airbnbs that you can get in Atlanta. They've done it in other states as well, where you can have two, but one of them has to be your primary source of income. So just thinking about how do you pivot that Airbnb business as well. And then, like I said, here's going to be all the international grants. Then we're going to have here, I put all of the YouTube videos. So whenever this finishes, I'll post it in here first, or I'll give individuals in here a heads up that that is happening. Here is going to be state specific. So I categorize it by each: nonprofits, for-profits. And then this is just general, where I post general stuff that might come up that I feel like, okay, it doesn't really fit in a specific category. Currently, the price for the Patreon is $20, which, as I've said on all of my other videos, it's like buying a lottery ticket, y'all. $20 per month. You can cancel at any time. It also supports the channel, so I can continue to do, the free videos. But then I post a minimum of 20 grants. So you buy your $1 lottery ticket. Maybe you get the grant, maybe you don't, maybe it works for your business, but there's always going to be a handful that will work for your business, because if you go into general or if you go into for-profit, now the state specific will be different, right? Because you might not be in Atlanta or you might not be in Wisconsin. So it will just depend on where you're located at, if the state specific ones that are in there will work for where you're located. But you can always go into this general section and say, hey, I'm located here. Are there any grants out there? And then I'll be more conscientious of looking for that specific city, state. Accelerator, I have several just different accelerators, boot camps, etc., that's associated with businesses, nonprofits. And I didn't really know where to put them because it's not necessarily a grant where you get financial, but I do believe that knowledge is priceless. So if you can get in a room of knowledgeable individuals and you do an 8-week cohort, 4-week cohort, whatever that is, I'm going to start posting those in here. This was one that I found that's dealing with healthcare and children, but there's been many where most of them probably have, the deadline is gone because I was just trying to figure out what to do with them because it wasn't fitting what I was originally advertising, but the channel is money time. So any way to make money, we're going to eventually start talking about, but I really want to just, focus right now just on grants and things like that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put a link to the Patreon in the chat, and then we're going to go back and quickly talk about Better Legal, because I do think that, for what they're charging and what you get, I think it's a good deal. Especially when I think about, how much I typically charge for providing those types of services. And then I'll put, because I do consultations now, I will put that inside of the chat as well, and then quickly go through Better Legal. And then we're going to get into this grant for $1,000. And it's pretty simple for you to get it. All right, so let's go back real quickly, talk about Better Legal so we can get that out the way, because I want this video to be short because the grant is quick. Okay, Better Legal, and the link to this will be in the description box, because with my partnership, instead of this being $2.99, it's actually $1.99. And what they are providing for this $1.99, which I've said, I charge no less than $500 to do anything associated with incorporating businesses, operating agreements, and all of that jazz, right? So here you're going to get your articles, your EIN number, operating agreement, and then banking resolution and other helpful documents. And then what I like is you get this free website. Now, of course, when it's free, you're going to get the bare minimum. But if you're somebody that has a product or you have limited services and you need just a simple landing page, this will be a great starting point for you. And then, of course, as they say, once you start making a little bit more money, you can transition to more features that will then be their paid version. Also, business checking, so there's no setup fee, minimum deposit, monthly minimum balances, or anything like that. And then look at this, no overdraft fees. So that's amazing for $1.99. And then they do a tax analysis for you. And then insurance evaluation. As I've said in the past, with insurance evaluation, they're just going to look at your business and then recommend different types of insurances that will best protect your business. Like I said, the link to this will be in the description. And then also they do it on this side as far as the corporation. So if you're trying to get a nonprofit, because a nonprofit is a corporation, and then you'll get similar. You'll get your bylaws, banking resolutions, all of the similar things. The only thing that's going to shift is bylaws versus the operating agreement. So operating agreement is going to be attached to that LLC. Bylaws is going to be attached to a corporation. So that's that. So let's get up out of Better Legal and let's talk about this grant. Now, I don't really have a lot of notes for this grant because this is, you can have an idea. What I will say is, the key is it must be something that then connects you to your community. And a lot of these grants want that community impact. So by this point, if you don't have community impact, you need to start getting out into your community. And then, that's networking, marketing, being in your community, word of mouth. If you just sitting behind the desk, how are people going to know that you exist? Because even with myself and my YouTube, I'm in the process of finalizing my flyers for different networking events that I'm going to be going to. So I'm like, it's going to be a room full of entrepreneurs. Hands out my flyers, come to the channel, look for the grant, sign up for the Patreon. So you definitely need to be in the community. But then from that, I'll be able to then start sponsoring events. I want to do more charitable things. So just thinking about the importance of networking, key. but then also giving back to your community. That's key. These are monthly grants. So the grants are going to go through December of 2022. So each month, now, not each month, you can get $1,000. Each month is different chapters. So that's why it's global. So each chapter of this specific grantor, and if there is not a chapter in your city, you can apply to the closest chapter, or you can start your own chapter. Now, I don't know how they get the funding. I'm assuming they fundraise. I don't know that piece, if it comes from the top and then they, give you all startup funds in order to be able to hand out these grants, but that's an opportunity as well. So you apply. The main thing that they want to know about your business. They want to know what you would use that $1,000 for. And remember, the $1,000 can be in conjunction with a larger budget. Your budget does not have to be $1,000. Your budget could be $10,000, but then this $1,000 is going to help you. Say for myself, the $1,000 will help me get my flyers. It would be, paying the designer, paying the printing company, cost of shipping. All of those things would be that $1,000. Or it could be starting a website in conjunction with your larger budget. Now, if the only thing you're asking for is a website for your business, you probably won't get this grant. And the reason being is, how are you connecting that to your community? Now, if it's going to be a website that provides access to resources within your community for individuals that otherwise would not know that they exist, that could be something. But if it's, I got a boutique and I'm tired of operating via Cash App and Facebook, so now I want to have a website to give my business that more professional look, this is not the opportunity for you. But remember, nonprofit, for-profit, no profit, idea, you're all eligible. Global, I keep saying that, global opportunity is going to be on a thumbnail whenever that pops up. But we're going to get into this grant. It should take you like 5 minutes to do this. If you got your elevator pitches, which we've talked about so many times at this point, you will be able to get through this application in no time. So we are going to quickly, so this is awesomefoundation.org. That's where you're going to go, awesomefoundation.org, in order to get to this grant. And then here you see they got 83 chapters, 14 countries. I want to go to the FAQ just so this one didn't necessarily, I couldn't find any terms and conditions, and it's probably because it's such a small dollar amount and it's different chapters. But the FAQ does give you some stuff, right? So let's see. Here's the one that I think is important. Which chapter should I apply to? Now, they do tell you to apply to the chapter that's closest to you. However, you can apply to multiple chapters. So you're not even limited to one chapter. If you feel like, I know they have a Chicago chapter, but let's say they have a New York chapter and you're in New York and you apply for New York, but you feel like, okay, although I'm in New York, what I'm trying to do, I think Chicago would really be interested in this. You can apply for Chicago. The one thing that they do request is that you communicate that you've, applied for these other chapters, because they have limited funds to begin with, and they definitely don't want an individual able to collect thousands of dollars because they are cross applying for different chapters, and the chapters are not going to be communicating with one another and saying, hey, Chicago, I see this person is in New York. Did they apply? They're literally just going to look at your application and say, you know what, this is something that we want to support. And then they also request that if at any point you've ever received the $1,000 funds for them to please not apply again. And that's even if you have multiple businesses, right? Because they want to make sure that the limited amount of funds that they have is out there in the community for everyone. Not everyone, that's literal, right? But so more people can have an opportunity, because I can have 3 to 4 businesses, and then let's say I get $4,000. That's $3,000 that could have been spread throughout others in that specific chapter or other chapters if you apply to multiple chapters. And then when will you hear back? Most chapters meet monthly to review applications, and then they decide. So each month, I don't know when in the month you'll know. And then there's also not a deadline that I could find on the website to say, if you apply by June 20th, you will then be in the running for July's. What I would say is, if you apply today and you don't hear anything by July 30th or 31st, and then August 1st, whatever, then you can apply for the next month. And then if you wanted to volunteer with them, you could do that as well. And also, you can become a trustee, so you can provide funds. So let's go back to this application. All right. So here again, you're going to first and foremost select your chapter. As you see, it is global. We got Belgium, Brazil, we got Germany, we got the Netherlands, we got United Kingdom. So we have all of these different opportunities. But then if you don't see a specific chapter that's close to you, which, you should be able to find one that's close to you, even if it's hundreds of miles away, you can select any. But as they say, they generally give priority to applicants submitted to them directly. And then I don't even think, I'm trying to figure out, like, if it's any, how would all of the different chapters get it? So I would definitely try to pick one that, is close to you. And then just the basics, your name, your email, your phone number, project title, whatever this title is going to be. It could be, which we've said in the past, it could be financial literacy. It could be workforce training and development. It could be related to STEM. It could be community engagement. It could be voter registration. It could be investment. It could be anything that you are currently working on. It could be, if you're doing a charity fashion show, it could be that, right? But remember, the total dollar amount does not have to be $1,000. So please don't limit yourself thinking $1,000, like, what can I do that's $1,000? But if you're not already operating a business and you're just thinking that I want to do something small, it could be project. Right now, gas prices are through the roof, right? And maybe you want to give out $25 gas cards to people in underserved communities. So $1,000 could get you a good chunk of $25 gas cards, if that's just something that you want to do that's not attached to a business, anything else that you got going on. So definitely remember, the core is supporting your community, giving back to your community. Remember that piece. And then project website, you see there's no asterisk, so it's not a requirement, but if you do have a website, that'd be nice. Or if you have some type of initiative, it could be a Facebook page that you started, an Instagram that you started. It doesn't have to be an official website that they're looking for. And it doesn't seem like that they're really looking for a website. Tell them about your project. Now, 2,000 characters, y'all. Remember, brevity, brevity, brevity. This is characters. This is not words. So if you have, you got the thesaurus, you a dictionary, and you got all the big words, you can end up with 500 words because you got all of the big words, right? Or you can have 1,000 if you have, shorter words. So definitely remember 2,000 characters, not words. And I highly recommend typing your answers in a Word document. And then from there, because Word will give you that count anyways at the bottom of the page, but then also you can do some grammar check, right? Because this will likely check if you spelled something correctly or incorrectly versus is it grammatically correct? So I always recommend doing that and then do the review and do all that goodness. How will you use the money? So whatever your project is, how will you then utilize this $1,000 that you are applying for? And remember, they're asking what you're going to do with the $1,000 within your larger budget. They are not saying, we want to know about the entire $10,000 project. We want to know what piece of the $1,000 is going to be utilized to get you to this end goal, whatever that project is, or whatever you're trying to do that's attached to your business. And this is 500 characters. So they want you to be straight to the point. This is what I plan to do with the money, and this is the impact it's going to have on the community, right? And then tell us a little bit about yourself. They just want to know who you are, how you got to where you got to probably. But again, 500 characters. So you really need to come out with, punching them to say, oh my gosh, this person is amazing. I need to know more and I want to support this person. So definitely do not do don't give them your resume. That's kind of like if I say, I'm a practicing attorney. I've been practicing for a little bit over 12 years. No, that's not what they want to know. They want to know who you are at your core. So if I'm saying who I am at my core, I am passionate about creating generational wealth because, right, I am a product of my environment. But the twist is when you hear that, don't be a product of your environment, it's always have this negative connotation. I'm a product of my environment. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up poor. And that is what gave me the grit that was necessary for me to get to where I am today. So I am proud to be a product of my community. So that's what they're going to want to hear about me versus the titles. And I don't like titles. I don't believe in titles. I understand that I have it, but I want people to be attracted to Ebony, the person, and who she is and her morals, values, and all of that. I don't want you to be attracted to Ebony, the attorney. So therefore, I want to engage with her or I want to be friendly with her because of her title. No, if you're going to treat me like, do so regardless of my title, right? So get to the core of who you are in this limited 500 characters. And then they want an image, and you can do up to 5 images that will give them a better understanding of your project. So whatever pictures that you want to give them, it could be, I don't know, you've put together a PowerPoint and, they said images. So whatever, PNG, JPEG, etc. Now, do not, when I say PowerPoint, do not upload some with a bunch of words on it, because that's going to look like you're circumventing the fact that they only want to read a limited amount of words, which why they have restricted your characters. So you can have these pictures, but maybe it could be an image. But then like for myself, I was raised in Walnut Park in St. Louis. And then maybe I'm just saying, Walnut Park, so they can get the imagery of me being a product of my environment and what that means to me. But I'm not going to write paragraphs inside of images. Please don't do that. And then where are you located? City, country, etc. Because remember, this is global. And then how did you hear about it? You would put my YouTube channel because you heard about it on this YouTube channel. And then after that, you click apply. And that is pretty much the end of this grant. So if you have gotten anything of value from this video, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that. Do not forget to look at the small business grants playlist. There's currently $75,000. Actually, it's more than that because the video that is $50,000, there's actually an additional $12,500 that's inside of that opportunity. So that's really $62,500 on that grant that says $50,000. And then I just loaded the $25,000. There is a $500 one as well. And then now we have this $1,000 one. So again, there are plenty of grants on the channel for you to apply to. There's even more. I mean, at this point, I'm probably at over $10 million of just grants posted inside of the Patreon. With that, if I don't have anything else, I am going to sign off. And I thank you all for taking your time to look at this video. And I thank you for subscribing to the channel because I know that you just did. So thank you for that. And I will see you all next time.